Oh, man. Good week this week. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. We were in Las Vegas Sunday through Wednesday. Did a couple of shows there. Nothing like doing shows from the 38th floor of the Cosmopolitan overlooking the Strip. And crushed it. Still created some content on the road back. A couple of shows in studio. Everything's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Also, a good bit of it's on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. Show is brought to you by Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. And it starts today all the way through next week. We'll be hopping around some fabulous bars and restaurants throughout the week, and we'll tell you where we're going to be next week. We want you to come out and see us and celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week as they raise money for service industry workers who don't have health insurance but are hurt in some way, shape, or form, and they pay for it. And they've raised well over $500,000, and they're getting it kicked off again today. Taste Italian Kitchen is in. Beautiful, obviously, Italian restaurant in the Renaissance. They're participating. Spring Street Cigars, rooftop bar on the first floor. Second floor is a huge humidor with Davidoff humidor inside it, among other wonderful cigars. So we're going to be partying next week in honor of Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. Speaking of partying, we want to welcome in our friend Fat Jack Ross, FatJackSports.com, handicapper to the stars. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. This is 1059 The Zone ESPN. And Fat Jack, good morning. This SEC schedule tomorrow is epic and insane, and I cannot wait. How about you?
Yeah, we're getting in the middle of it, and we got OU Texans, of course, and then three other games for sure. Actually, more than that, but three other games that are going to really tell a lot about what's going to happen the rest of the season. So, yeah, excited about that. Players props, Bo, won 15 games of profit last week again. So 10 2 weeks ago, 15 last week, 25 games of profit with those player props. So we were 2-0 in soccer yesterday, and actually that's 3-0 start to the soccer weekend with a plus 185. So lots of reasons to go to FatJackSports.com, but primarily we've got a huge SEC schedule, and we're going to have a lot of that released this weekend. Some of it for only $44. So I run this once a year special. We'll talk about at the end. But great time to get signed up. Great time to start winning.
Oh, all right. $44 Fat Jack Sports. We'll hit that in a minute. Let's start with Alabama at Missouri. These are two good football teams. I've got it at -2.5. Bama going on the road. They've come back with two good wins over Georgia and Vanderbilt. This is going to be another physical game. Drink is doing a great job in Columbia. Prabula from Penn State is a hell of a player. Ty Simpson's playing better. Handicap this one for me, Fat Jack.
Yeah, this one and Georgia both, I think, are a couple of games that are kind of head scratchers to the general public. They're going to say, hey, now what? Alabama's only 2.5-point favorite on the road. Missouri's good, but I think nationally you would think that Alabama would be more of a favorite. But Missouri's defense is for real. I mean, this team averages giving up less than 15 points a game. They've given up less than 20 yards rushing a game in a number of games this year. And Alabama's defense is elite. It's next level. They figured some things out since Florida State. So the better play in this one to me is under the total. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of points. I think actually all three of the kind of quote-unquote marquee games in the SEC have very similar agendas as far as what the coaches are going to want to do. And it boils down to don't make mistakes, don't give away extra possessions, and at the expense of not throwing it down the field as much, not taking unnecessary risks. So look for under plays, basically typical SEC smash mouth football in both Alabama, the Georgia-Auburn game, and OU Texas. All three of those, I think, lean toward the under first and foremost. And if you're one of those that doesn't understand why Alabama's only a 2.5-point favorite, why Georgia's only a 3.5-point favorite, and you can't figure out OU Texas because of material, whether he's playing or not, people know more than you do, and that's okay. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. But I know enough to know that when a line looks fishy, it's either play the other side or more times than not, don't play the sides, find better, easier places to make money. So under's the better play in the game. I lean toward Missouri plus the points.
Okay. All right. You mentioned Oklahoma and Texas. You may advise to stay away from it because of Mateer. He was listed as questionable, as you and your team know. On a neutral field, Texas looks like they don't they don't have an identity on offense. Kwiatkowski, the DC, has been carrying this thing for a while. He even carried it last year. So do you touch this game, or you just go, you know what, there's too many other games I'm passing without knowing what Mateer's going to be?
No, I like this game. And by the way, he's been upgraded to probable. The numbers jumped the fence. So basically, it's as his health goes, the number goes. So OU was a 3.5-point underdog when it first opened. It went to 3. Then there were some grumblings Mateer might play. Then it went down to Texas being a 1-point favorite. Now you can get Oklahoma as a favorite, or in my case, Texas as an underdog in a couple of different houses. I think Oklahoma, winter's coming for the Sooners. The SEC schedule is getting ready to get real serious for them. Their big wins this year have both been at home against really inept offensive teams. And I put Auburn in that, although they've shown some signs of scoring. Michigan's not scoring against much of anybody, and everything's been in the friendly confines of Owens Field. And so this team, I don't care if Mateer plays or not. I think Texas does enough defensively to disrupt what Oklahoma wants to do offensively with really a suspect offensive line. They don't really run the ball effectively. Only had 62 yards or something against Auburn. I think defensively, Texas is going to have an opportunity to get some short fields for their offense, to get some turnovers. And, yeah, Arch Manning can't throw it in the lake or the ocean part of the time. But offensively, I expect a little more variety, and I think this is a low-scoring game in which you're going to have most of the pressure on the Sooners late in that game, because they're undefeated and because they think there's something they're really not. I think that you're going to get some pressure up on Mateer, or if he gets hurt, which I think is 50-50 at best if he plays, that injury's not anywhere near healed. He's going to be in a lot of pain. Their backup doesn't throw it well at all. So under the total in that one, I like the Longhorns minus the points here. Also, another one, though, is you've got a ranked team, 6th in the country, that's undefeated, that is either a pick-em or the smallest of favorites against the 3-2 team that happens to have played some people. That's a red flag for most of the general public. So I like the Longhorns minus the points.
All right, Fat Jack Ross, fatjacksports.com. He's been on a roll this year. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings. That is a winning combo for the weekend. You mentioned Georgia and Auburn. Yeah, and you mentioned Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold have not been able to get this thing going. But I expect this to be a close game. On the Plains, 100,000. I've been down there. Good grief. People going crazy, all of that. Auburn's D is good. Georgia is good on both sides of the ball, I think, Fat Jack, but far from dominant what they were 3 or 4 years ago. How do you see this one?
And Georgia 1-5 against the spread their last 6. And Auburn, one of those teams that is able to muddy things up and keep things close against teams that are better than them. And so I think this goes right down to the wire. Again, most, if not all, the pressure will be on Georgia in this spot. It is on the road. Again, the same with Missouri, Alabama. I think 2 of these 3 teams lose on Saturday. And so if I told you last week that Carolina was going to win and Tennessee was going to win and all the teams that happened in the NFL were going to win, you would have called me crazy. So I'm going to give you something else, and people drive around and be rolling their eyes. I think 2 of these 3 lose, either Ohio State, Georgia, or Texas A&M. 2 of the 3 of them lose. This will be that Saturday, that quote-unquote upset Saturday that we typically get sometime in the month of October. Florida playing much better now. They beat up on beat Texas last week. Lagway's not turning the ball over. A&M, I think, is a little bit suspect for where they are. And they almost always lose a game exactly like this when they're not supposed to, when everybody down there thinks in College Station thinks they're going to win the national championship. So an eye to keep an eye on all those. Definitely don't play the favorite in all those, because that's going to be a losing formula, in my opinion, this weekend.
All right, some of the larger spreads. Let's go with 2. Arkansas 11.5 underdog, and South Carolina 9.5. So who has a better shot of covering, LSU or Tennessee, or neither?
Yeah, I think Tennessee, and I'm in the minority as far as sharp gamblers go. This game was 13.5, 14 when it opened. Now it's down to 11. So you do have a bunch of sharp players thinking that the Razorbacks are in a circle the wagon situation, that they will give Tennessee all they want. I don't see that. Tennessee at home scores a ton of points. Arkansas 1-4 against the spread their last 5, and their games are going over. All right, over the total is the better play in this game, but Arkansas 5-1 to the over their last 6. Tennessee 9 in a row to the over. If they get in a shootout, I like Tennessee's ability to get a stop more times than not against Arkansas versus the opposite way around, especially in Knoxville. So, yeah, I think Tennessee and the over in that game, a couple of good things to look at. The other one to take a look at, Bo, we probably won't talk about unless I bring it up. I bet Texas Tech to win the national championship at 80-1 right after the Utah game. And I had released them every game before that. This is a team undefeated against the spread. People cannot get it through their head. This is not a West Texas football team. This is Ohio State. This is Oregon. This is Georgia. This is Alabama. That's the players that have been paid to play football in West Texas this year. This is a much better team than people know, and they're in an inferior conference. Now, do I think they're going to win the national championship? Probably not, but they do have a shot. But just like when I gave you the Steelers, I gave you the Rams, and I gave you the Buccaneers, all at better than 20-1 before the NFL season to bet to them to win the Super Bowl. I don't have to win the national championship at 80-1. I just have to get them in the playoffs. And I think I not only get them in the playoffs, Texas Tech, that is, I think I get a buy out of them. And when I do, I will hedge that back and guarantee myself that money once we get in the playoffs. So there's still some value. They're still over 20-1. If it was the NFL, I'd be licking my chops at it. But just take it, just a sprinkling. Just give yourself $100. You guarantee yourself 100 as long as they keep doing what they're doing.
I love it. Fat Jack Ross, fatjacksports.com. Tell me about the $44.
Yeah, $44. I run this once a year. It's for guys that have been sitting on the fence and or getting beat on their own. You get 4 NFL games, 4 college games, and at least 4 players props. You're going to get more like 8. But $44. So you don't have to talk to anybody. There's no upselling. You're getting the top plays, top 4 college, top 4 NFL, and the players props all this weekend. They're Saturday and Sunday. So get signed up, fatjacksports.com. You don't have to talk to anybody. You get the picks on a personal portal. They're emailed to you. You get a recommended betting guide that tells you what to do with them, and you will actually make money this weekend betting the games for only $44. It's a once-a-year deal. Get signed up, win, and then take that profit and sign up for a longer package on Monday before that doubleheader Monday night. fatjacksports.com. Sign up today and win this weekend.
All right, before we get out of here, do you want to profile or preview an NFL game or two real quick?
Yeah, so let's go over with Washington-Chicago. All right, Chicago is the worst team in the league versus the run. Washington got 27 points against the Chargers last week. They're scoring. And look for the Jets to do – listen, if I'd given you the Giants last night, you'd call me crazy. But look for the Jets to do what all of those teams did last week that were down big and won their first game. I think the Jets actually have a chance to win this game. We see teams that have big emotional wins that then have to travel come flat the next week this time of year. San Francisco's in that after their win against the Rams, and certainly Denver after beating Philly. They have to go overseas the first thing in the morning on Sunday, take the Jets plus the points.
Oh, that's in London, England. I see where you're going, Fat Jack. All right, fatjacksports.com. He's got a $44 special this weekend. 4 college games, 4 NFL games. He only does it once a year. fatjacksports.com. He is Fat Jack Ross. He joined us on the Out of Bounds show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Have a great weekend, my man. Thank you.
All right, Bo. Take care. See you soon.
Fat Jack Ross, fatjacksports.com, $44. 4 college games, 4 NFL, $44. 4 college games, 4 NFL, Fat Jack Sports, fatjacksports.com. That was brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings.